Speaking of Friday nights on High School Scoreboard Live, let's go to the hotline.
The GOAT.
And bring in my co-host on the Emmy Award-winning High School Scoreboard Live, the voice of the Texas Longhorns and the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. We are joined, as we always are on Tuesdays, by Craig Way. Craig, Patrick Modrovsky is in the studio right now. Is it fair to say that he is the one who is always yelling at you in your ear on Friday nights?
Yes, and the only reason for that is he's displacing all of his anger from his wife yelling at him. And you know this as a young married couple with a young child. It is the wife and mother's inalienable constitutional right to just give you the business. And I know you get that, and deservedly so, obviously. And so does Patrick. It's just a rite of passage. Happened to me as well. That's just the way life rolls.
Shout out to Clarissa Modrowski as well. All right, Craig. I don't mean to spring some breaking news on you, but I'm not sure if you've seen the breaking news broken by Dave Campbell's Texas football contributor and Lake Travis View's own Jay Plotkin. Down in your neck of the woods, the reports are that Hudson Card, the Lake Travis quarterback and the Texas commit, has suffered a foot injury in their big win over Austin Westlake, and the fear is that he is out for the year. You have your finger very close to the pulse of Lake Travis football. This seems like a really big deal. Is this a really big deal?
Yes, it is. Jay is correct. Mm-hmm. It is happening. There's a surgery scheduled for, I believe, Friday of this week, and there's probably every probability that Hudson will miss the rest of the regular season, or at least the rest of the season, or at least for sure the rest of the regular season. Where it goes from there, who knows? But it's something he's been playing with, and something he's had some issue with, and so. I don't know if it was an aggravation or a re-injury or all of the above, but the decision was made for him to go ahead and get it fixed now. So he's out. I think, and I don't know what else Jay has reported, but he's usually right on top of it as well, that Marcelo Alaniz, their number one running back, is out. Mm-hmm. And that might be along the lines of a knee thing. They do have quite a bit of depth at running back, Weston Stevens and Irwin. They have some guys back there, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the big, rangy, tall, lanky fella Nate Yarnell does. All 6'6" of him at the quarterback spot now for the Cavaliers.
Well, and obviously this kind of changes the shape of what we thought on Friday night. You know, I was on your show yesterday talking about what a big win it was for Lake Travis. It kind of vaults them back into that state championship contention in 6A Division I. Is it fair to say that this kind of changes the flavor of that victory on Friday night?
Well, you know, you and I discussed the philosophy of that win, and I visited with Hank Carter this morning. And he and Todd Dodge at Westlake, and I think we're all of that same mindset that, I think Todd referred to it as a midseason bowl game of sorts. Hank also did that. I think you put it in really good terms when you said, however you compartmentalize that win, it was a win by Lake Travis over a team that is a legitimate state championship contender, and it's kind of like getting a playoff freebie. So you get to find out where you are, and it's the same holds true for Westlake on the 1-point defeat side of it as well. That that you see where you are and what you have to work on. By the way, it did not escape my notice in the brand new Dave Campbell's Texas football rankings that you have Westlake conveniently positioned one spot below Lake Travis to match the 1-point defeat. But again, to your point, I don't think the Cavaliers are going to have any, real difficulty with 25-6A the rest of the way. They still have to deal, obviously, with Hayes, but I think they'll handle their business there. They will be the top seed in the Division I bracket coming out of that district. They'll get a home playoff game in by district. Basically, Hank Carter and his staff have 5 weeks, this 5 week and 4 weeks, to get those guys, in specific, Yarnell, ready to be the man, in the postseason. And he's had reps, And also, this is not something that is foreign, as we know, to Coach Carter and his staff. They had to do the same thing with Matthew Baldwin a couple of years ago when he missed all of the postseason up until that ill-fated snap he took against Allen in the state championship game on the first play from scrimmage when the knee buckled underneath him. So, Card was taking the snaps leading up to that point. So, it's not something they haven't dealt with before, and I think they'll be prepared for that. And they've got enough firepower at least through the first round of 3. It's going to be interesting, though, clearly, to see, if they get into a quarterfinal with Judson, or if they advance that far, and then, what might happen in a semifinal matchup as well. So it could be really interesting to see.
We're talking with Craig Way, the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at #TF Today. All right, so now kind of spinning forward into Week 8, where it is a massive, massive Week 8 Texas High School football. There are 6 battles of unbeatens across the state. I presume you know almost all of them, but if you didn't, I'll give you the rundown of the 6, and I'm going to make you choose one that you're most interested in. They are Springtown and Decatur, Frisco Lone Star and the Colony, Shiner and Weimer, Katy Pato and A&M Consolidated, Wall and Jim Ned, or Alvin, Shadow Creek, and Friendswood. Which of those, you can pick 2 if you'd like, most catch your fancy?
Probably, if I'm just thinking about this, only because of the way that the rise has happened. The 2 in the greater Houston area really intrigued me. Pato against Consol is one of them. And then you and I talked about Friendswood the other day. How for real are the Mustangs? About to find out. I think those 2 really stand out to me in terms of the unbeaten matchups. Now, obviously, there are some other matchups of at least once beaten teams, if not more. Gilmer Pleasant Grove comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Hutto Cedar Park in these parts is going to be titanic. And I'll give you one that kind of goes a little bit under the radar a little bit because of some losses early. But I think it's a critical game, and that is Liberty Hill at Lampasas.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see, Liberty Hill is they suffered some body blows due to not having great returning numbers, and Jeff Walker's ball club is up against a Lampasas team that just looks great so far this year, and of course has Ace Whitehead, maybe the best quarterback name in all of Texas high school football, who get not just quarterbacks, plays in the secondary, kicks extra points, does a little bit of everything. That's a huge game in Lampasas, I think, on Friday night. So all of those come to mind in addition to the 2 unbeaten matchups.
Growing up in Llano, man, those are my 2 old stomping grounds when it came to playing sports.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I guess that's
and the Jackets look good to be a playoff team as well this year.
They sure do.
All right, Craig. I'll let you go with this. We talk so much about our favorite district, the Shrug district of District 13-5A Division 2. But I'm going to throw in a different district that may have, in fact, found a way to be crazier than that district. I'm referring to 8-4A Division 2, where you have Waco Connolly, who's kind of bobbing along, number 1 team in 4A Division 2. But past that, you have Mejia, Fairfield, Salado, Lorena, Robinson at 0-2, who looked like they were going to be chief challenger to Connolly. The only team that looks like they're struggling right now is Madisonville, and even they're a pretty good team. Can you make any heads or tails of that district, or is that one of those districts that it seems like there's 1 or 2 every year where you just kind of throw up your hands and go, well, wake me in week 11 and we'll try to sort this thing out?
Yeah, I think it's that, other than I think Connolly is head and shoulders above the rest. And I didn't think that at the start of the year, but I do now, looking at it. And then, throw the rest in the hat and kind of jumble it around a little bit. So, yes, I'm in complete agreement with you there on that. And let me also say this, before we walk too far away from 13-5A D2, here's your own Matt Stepp coming down, I hear the whispers say, to the greater Austin area to catch some Eastview and Weiss next Thursday night, which, by the way, our good friend Roger Wallace, they do the live telecast of games in the greater Austin and Central Texas area every Thursday night. They do a Thursday night game, and I have twice been able to talk them into, to borrow the NBC NFL term, flexing out of games that they had scheduled to do another one, and that includes next week. They're going to flex out of Stony Point and McNeil, even though Stony's having a great year. They got a big showdown with Round Rock this week. McNeil not so much, and you're going to have Eastview at Weiss next week. I think Weiss, if Weiss takes care of its business, who would have thought you'd say that about a team that went 0-10 a year ago? If they take care of their business on the road at Cedar Creek, and then you see Eastview handle Glen, then those two in Brenham who are fighting it down the stretch for the district title. But the Weiss story continues to be fascinating, how they went 0-10 with no seniors last year on the team, and now all that stuff is starting to pay dividends for Tommy Altman's ball club, and that'll be fascinating next week. And I guess that's why we get to see Matt Stepp grace the area with his presence at the field at Pflugerville.
It's delighting Danny Davis, the Austin American statesman, too, who is always bullying Matt Stepp to come down to Austin. He is Craig Way. He's the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer. Follow him on Twitter at CraigWay1. Listen to his fine work down there on the Horn in Austin. Of course, see him sitting alongside two other dudes on a high school scoreboard live on Friday nights on Fox Sports Southwest. Craigers, appreciate your time, my friend, and I will see you on Friday.
Looking forward to it. Hey, actually, enjoy that battle of Scott Peach versus Bob Wager. That's going to be fun.
It's always a pickle interviewing a peach, so it makes for a good pun regardless.
Love that.
Bye, Craig.
Bye, Craig.
We'll let you go on that nonsense. There he goes. Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer, joins us every Tuesday here on Texas Football Today.